Kitty hugs. Kitty hugs are the best hugs. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh.
Greetings, boys and girls, from the Alberta Pepper Lab. Today is going to be a Pepper Lab update, and also gonna kind of show you guys how I have my hydroponics set up. Also want to take a moment at the end of the video to talk about my pests that I've had to deal with this year, and how that's worked out for me. The whole plan that I had originally with hydroponics versus soil. I did soil the previous year, and this year I did almost everything hydroponic for the good majority of the winter. I've only just yesterday introduced dirt into the Pepper Lab, and yeah, so without further ado, let's see what we got going on.
So the first thing that I wanted to mention was the Trinidad Moruga Scorpion that BD Beats gave me. Gave me the seeds for. I have decided not to cut it back. I'm going to let this bad boy grow apparently across my desk. This thing just keeps going and going. Like, I even had to move one of the branches up over the light because it was just getting burnt at the light, and that's about as high as the lights go. So there is that. Over here we have the Pepper Lab. So what we've got right here in these two small crack key containers are my jalapenos that Rachel sent me. I also have my white 7-pot there. This one growing up here, you can see it's held up by a giant elastic band right there, holding the whole thing up because it just wants to droop over, is my Alberta pepper. This huge bush is my white ghost, and it will not stand up for the life of it. Guys, if you have any tips or tricks to getting hydroponic peppers, large hydroponic peppers, to stay standing, I would really appreciate your input. Down over here, we have my basket of fire. You guys all know how I love my basket of fire. You can see that it's producing. Got lots of little peppers growing in there. Things are going good. On the other side of the bottom shelf, I have my white coyote zen. And then, if we move up, you guys can see that there is some new stuff going on. Of course, you guys already knew about the Hoya plants there, but I have got a different setup than last year. Last year I was doing the double cup method, and I left them in there too long, and they became root bound, and most of my plants actually didn't produce last year. And so as a result of that, I've decided to just get them into dirt and make sure they were in pots that were big enough to hopefully last until May, when I can start bringing my plants outside. As you guys know, this is Alberta, and we don't have the best growing season. So what I've got here is white ghosts. Then I have giant cayenne. After that, Tibetan Lhasa pepper. These two right here are my Scotch brains. And the ones in the back are Chinese 5-color. Decided to grow that again this year, after all my talk of not liking them last time I grew them. Over here you guys can see how they're nicely labeled. I've got Golden Dragon, Kraken Scorpion, Orange Scorpion, Kangstar White Tie, Skinny Cayenne, Long Cayenne, Chocolate Bootla, and my Troll Forge bonnet. There's actually 2 of my Troll Forge bonnets. Unfortunately, I could not get the Reapers to germinate. Probably more my fault than the seed's fault, I would assume. My 3 large containers in the back, those are all Chocolate Bootla. And then looking down in here, the first one there is Lemon Balm. Second one here is going to be Mongo's Treat, that's catnip. Then I've got 2 dills growing. And over here, I've got rosemary. Up there, I've got parsley. This is thyme. And, and I've got some pretty roses growing. So I'm going to pull back, give you guys the full view of the pepper lab here, if I can move back far enough for you guys to see what it looks like. And that is how things are growing. I will now show you guys the other side with that that Moruga scorpion is not happy with its enclosure. Actually, one of the things that I was thinking of doing was giving the grow tent to my sister, as that would enable her to be growing stuff in the winter time. And I know she's got a passion for tomatoes, like I have a passion for peppers, which is saying that she really likes her tomatoes. One thing that I would like to show you guys is what I've got going on in the Arrow Garden. These are almost all, except for that little guy in there who I'll get to in a minute. These are all my Alberta pepper cross. I would just like to show you how healthy these are. They're already splitting. Some of them have offshoots growing out of the branches already. And these were germinated at the same time as these little things here. And you guys can see that is a huge difference. There's a massive difference. I know JT Bear has a little series going with his Arrow Garden, and so this is, you know, like, for whatever reason, and I don't have a good explanation for it, maybe it's the nutrients, maybe it's the lighting, I'm not sure, but for whatever reason, what I put in here does way better than any others. All right, so let's head back to the table, have a little talk about how things went for me this winter. Actually, before we get into that, I would like to show you guys how the hydroponics are set up. So everything that isn't in Kratky, this is a Kratky, this is a Kratky, these two little guys here are Kratky. Anything that isn't those is all run off of the deep water culture, which I have a hose running to over here. Now, what happened to me this year is I ran out of room with the plants that were in here. As you guys know, that Trinidad Moruga scorpion was quite large. So I had to adjust it, and I think I kind of came up with a good idea. Runs off of this hose here, heads off to the White Ghost Alberta pepper plant and the White 7 pot. And then I've got a second hose that runs off just to this guy, feeding him the best quality nutrients I can. If I do remove this, I will be able to put up lights along the roof and then be able to grow larger pepper plants here, like maybe 2 large plants, just to kind of give you guys a view of how that goes. There would be a second light up there, and then this could be a large plant as well. So what is going on in the deep water culture is essentially this. It's just a pump with these little hoses that run to the tops of the buckets, and then down at the bottom it returns. I think next year I'd like to kind of get myself an aquaponic kind of situation like JT Bear has there. Looks really cool. If you guys haven't seen it, head over to his channel and take a look at that. He's got some pretty nifty nifty hydroponic stuff going on. Well, all right, boys and girls, let's talk about pests. Those of you who've been following my channel for a little while know that not the winter that we're in, but the winter before, I had an epic battle against thrips and fungus gnats. And I was very frustrated trying to get rid of them. I actually never was able to fully get rid of them. I was trying almost everything to get rid of these things, and it just wouldn't work for me no matter what I tried. And so what happened was I moved all of my plants out in the summer. I then bleached the entire pepper lab and just did a thorough clean of it, and did not grow anything down here during that summer, and just, you know, solely relied on the outside stuff. Then this winter I started, and I only had hydroponics in here. There was only hydroponics set up in here, and that worked for me. I did not have any pests that I was aware of. There wasn't very many adverse effects to my plants except for my own screw ups in regards to the nutrients that I was putting in and stuff like that. Maybe in my next video I will show you guys the nutrients that I am using. Yeah, so I did not have pests this year, or this winter. I really think that going over to hydroponics really saved my bacon, and I think moving forward I might do that. Now, I do have a slight problem. I am not sure if I can take these huge plants that I've grown and put them into dirt. I have a strong suspicion that they're going to die if I do that. So I need to set up a new deep water culture project outside. Hopefully that'll work. That's going to be a project in itself, and I might make a video on how I set that up. And then just transfer the net cups over to the outside one. Now, the reason I want to have an outside hydroponic setup is so that any bugs and stuff that get into the system don't end up staying in the system. Or do end up staying in the system, but they don't end up getting brought inside when I have to bring my hydroponic stuff inside. That will also give me the ability to grow stuff inside during the summer as well, and give you guys updates on BD Pete's huge plant over there. And yeah, guys, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave me a comment in the comments down below about what I should be doing about this huge white ghost that will not stand up on its own. Should I build an enclosure for it, like, you know, kind of like those tomato holders, those wire things? Should I build some kind of wire enclosure? I do work for an electrical company, so I have easy access to large amounts of wire. So I could probably build something like that, but that's the only thing that I can think of. Please, if you have any suggestions, leave them down below. I feel like I've rambled on for quite a bit, so hope you guys are having a great day. Bye-bye.